Good morning, friends. Good morning, neighbors. Can you believe it's been like 4 months since my last video? My last video was why I was not going to run for one of the open POA board of director positions. And I'm borderline regretting my decision right now. I'm going to tell you why borderline. Okay. First of all, it's Saturday, August the 5th. It's like almost 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to use this blanket because hell has indeed frozen over here in Fairfield Harbor related to a new traffic situation that has occurred. I'm going to talk about that. That's what this whole video is about. Okay, so stick with me. But it's early. I'm whispering because I'm in that witching hour where if I'm loud, my kids may hear me. And the nature of this video is such that I may get loud. Okay. But I've missed you. I've missed doing this. I have been doing some podcasting for some other community related pages. So I haven't gone away completely. If you've been following, do you like my new cup? I thought this was fitting for today. It's my daughter's. She's into a very stitch mode right now. But I was like, for my first video back, nope, not today. Okay. We're going to be drinking all the coffee because I could not sleep last night. My brain just kept, I was in monkey mode, monkey brain, monkey mind, if you've heard of that, where your brain just cannot shut down because it is so agitated. And then I was like, you know what? About like 4 o'clock this morning, I woke up, got my thoughts kind of organized in a way. I was like, I'm going to sit down and do this because if I don't, it's going to bother me all damn day. Okay. So welcome. Thank you so much for being here. I want to start out this video by talking about why do people live in homeowner associated sanctioned communities, okay, or property owner association communities. Why do we do that? Okay. So there are a couple reasons. One, we have a well-branded community where people know, like create a community of people like, hey, I live in your community. Oh, where do you live? I live on this street. Don't you just love it here? I do love it here. I live over on the water. We have a boat. You should come over sometime. I'd love to see you. Let's have a cookout. Let's drink some wine. Let's do all the things. Okay. It creates a camaraderie of people. When we have nothing else in common, what we do have in common is that we live in the same place. We appreciate the same geographic spot on a map. And that's something, okay? Start from there. When we have nothing else in common, we should start from there, okay? Also, a POA or HOA is designed to help maintain our property values. There are certain architectural plans in place, certain communities that focus on drainage and waterways and cleanup and all this other stuff that we as individuals living kind of out and about by ourselves, we don't have the collective engagement of a group of people that have varying degrees of want and desires to contribute to waterways, greenways, architectural design, right? Like you're kind of going at it alone when you live out by yourself. And being part of a community like Fairfield Harbor, we are able to leverage the experience, the knowledge, the expertise of people that move here and have done things that we need done in other locations. It brings perspective to the community. So that's another reason why we come. I was doing some research on why other people like to join HOAs, and one was financial stability. I'm going to laugh at that one because I feel like our financials are poorly run. And I'm not a finance person. That's not my area of expertise. I try not to overdraft my bank book. And that's about as far as I get. But I do understand general and administrative overhead. I do understand indirect expenses and direct expenses. I do not understand how our dues go to pay for a restaurant in a greenway that tend to stay in the red. I don't want to pay for those amenities. Okay. And if they can't do it on their own, they should close. But you're not going to charge me to keep them open and then charge me to actually eat there. And then try to create some kind of rule. This is a separate podcast. Create some kind of 420 club, 220, 240 club where we pay to give them the upfront capital that they need to keep providing food and services to us and then still charge me afterwards. Financial stability is not why we live here in Fairfield Harbor, okay? Not for the financial stability of the people running the Property Owners Association, okay? I don't look to them for that expertise. I kind of take that up here, talk with other people in the community because there's a lot of people talking about it in the community, okay? It does add, so another positive, it does add a layer of support in the community. I don't know if you remember, but last Thanksgiving, our well pipe burst here at our house. I was able to call the guard shack and they didn't know what to do to help me. It's like 6 o'clock in the morning. It's dark. I'm cold. I'm soaking wet. And they sent maintenance over here. I would have had nobody to call if I kind of lived out alone on the prairie, right? So we have a community of people that can reach out. I can go next door to my neighbors, Ray and Jamie, who I love so much, and say, hey, do you have a cake pan I can borrow? Because my daughter's birthday's tomorrow. I can't find mine. We have an extra layer of support when we reach out and create connection amongst those within our community. And then just kind of rules and regulations. We create community pride, right? We have our parades that I love going to, especially the Christmas parade. Rules and things like that deter, do not obstruct, but deter nuisance activities. Is it a fail-safe? No. We will have crime. We will have things that happen in here that you just can't predict because things are unpredictable. And while we are in a gated community, the gate does not completely surround our entire perimeter, nor do we want it to, I don't think. But you know what I do want? I do want a road outside of the gate shack that takes me out to Broad Creek and bypasses this. I have a beep here, I think. Nope, that's not it. Hold on. Stop. Oh my God. That one. This is my beep. I don't know why I couldn't make that stop. Note to self. But that is how I feel about driving out of this community, which we're going to talk about here a little bit more. Okay, this is hot. Coffee is so hot. And we have well-maintained common areas and amenities, and you see me looking off to the side because I had to make notes. And I say common areas and amenities, right? We don't play golf, so that's not something I'm going to partake in. We do have the river, which we love, and do participate in those activities. What is something else? Oh, we don't really visit the Fairfield Harbor pool. We have membership to the rec center because I think that pool is better maintained. And also, I don't feel like our community pool was even open this summer, or it was way late, like way late into the summer. My kids had already needed to be in a pool. So yeah, I mean, that's not 10 rules for why you would want to live in a POA, but those are some of the guiding principles for why we like living here. I love my neighbors from here to the end of Plymouth Court and then several sprinkled in across the way. Could not be more thrilled with the people that we have met since we moved here. I love them so much. Okay. But I don't think we would still be here, truth be told, if we lived kind of out in the fray. If I didn't live back here in this little cul-de-sac in the very back on the river where my front yard is the river and my backyard is 6,000 acres of game land and the house next door to me has no one living in it for the past 3 years, I don't really have neighbors, right? Though I do. But I think if I had to live next to somebody that could always see into my yard and what I was doing, all that stuff, we wouldn't probably still be here. But having said that, uh, we do love it here in New Bern. We do love it here in Fairfield Harbor, though I don't love all the things about Fairfield Harbor here. So um, I just wanted to kind of level set. Why in the hell do we actually choose to live in a POA sanctioned community? And those are just a few reasons why. One reason that we don't like living in a POA sanctioned community, should have also probably added some Baileys to this, is for rules and regulations. Okay. And I get the wanting to maintain home values, wanting to make sure our streets stay safe, rules and regulations designed about how homes look and are maintained, and keeping our community individuals safe is where rules and regulations should stop. I think we have all taken note of the current state of our national economy and our national government, and we are too regulated. Government has their hands in too many things. And when you see people on Facebook call the office, oh my gosh, somebody was speeding down the road. Somebody hit a deer. You should call the office. No, we shouldn't. No, we shouldn't. Okay. I cannot tell you how pissed off I was at the whole deer debacle. We were out of the country when that whole thing happened. Um, I can't believe somebody hit a deer. People speed in here all the time, blah, blah, blah. Who's to say that deer didn't jump out in front of somebody? I can't tell you the number of times I've been driving down the road and all of a sudden there's a deer right in my driver's side mirror. It happens. Those deer do not care. Speeding or no, I got two kids in the back, probably driving me freaking insane. I'm not. I'm driving the speed limit, but just out of the blue, in my blind spot, deer. Have I hit one? Thank God, no. Knock on wood. But it happens, okay? It's not always somebody speeding. It's not always somebody doing something wrong that causes something bad to happen. And the fact that a majority of the comments on our Facebook page are driven from a perspective of this happened. I hate that it happened. It must be someone's fault. There must be malicious intent involved here. They don't know what they're doing. They're inconsiderate. They aren't smart. There is something negative associated with why this thing that I didn't want to have happen happened, when that's not always the case. Accidents happen. People make mistakes. Deer get hit every day because they're not smart. And they were never meant to live in a world overrun with roadways. They're they're deforesting all of their actual habitat. Hell, look at Fairfield Harbor. It was mostly covered in trees just 10 years ago. We have literally clear cut acres of property in here in the past 2 years. You're taking away their homes. Their homes, now there are roads. Now there are homes where their homes used to be. Of course they're there. Of course they're prevalent. That's not anyone's fault. You wanted to live here. Your house took their place to live. So we're going to have to commingle. Okay. I swear. Um, it really bothers me that on our Facebook page, by and large, it seems that when something negative happens, it's because of someone else's ill intent, lack of intelligence, something like that, when that is not the case. And I'm going to talk about the traffic situation here in just a second. And I don't necessarily think that the original intent of that was malicious. I think the way that it is being executed is poor at best. I think the way in which it was communicated was shoddy at best. I think a lot of things. Okay. So I'm going to just put a pin in that. But I just want to start out by saying we love living here. We love New Bern. We love Fairfield Harbor. There are reasons why people want to live in a POA sanctioned community. But we don't need to make the POA what is considered our county commissioners, because we are not in the city of New Bern. These people act as our governing body, those that we elect into our board of directors. They are the governing body for this community. And while we need to respect that, They do not own the burden of making sure every single person in this community does everything that they need to do every single day, okay? They are not your mama. Stop treating them as such. You didn't like it when your parents, when you were growing up, need to have their hands in everything to keep you safe and do your own, like as you were growing and creating your own independence. We don't need them in our day-to-day operating activities. Yes, there should be an overarching hierarchy and a structure that they support, that we can take claimants to, that do not fall, like that are starting to push the boundaries of those structures. And we can make changes to those structures, mind you. But what we don't want them to do is have their hand into our day-to-day operations, because next thing you know, we're going to have new traffic laws. Then we're going to have all these people talking about somebody was walking through my backyard. Well, your backyard's not fenced off to the main road. People walk up and down the main road. Broad Creek is not part, not all of Broad Creek is part of Fairfield Harbor. Okay, so are we going to build a gate? Are we going to start talking border control here? How? What are we doing? What are we going to allow the POA to sanction on us next? Okay? I think we need to be very careful about the conversations that we raise and the level of authority we ask to get involved with those things. That's all I'm saying. So let's talk about this new policy. Okay. I'm going to talk about two things. I'm going to read this through because I want to make sure that people have read it. Then I'm going to summarize it in certain sections where I think the communication is shoddy. Okay. The Fairfield Harbor Property Owners Association speed limit 30, new speed limit 30 miles per hour. New speed enforcement policies, gate entry policies. The Fairfield Harbor Property Owners Association has approved and will implement the following policies effective August 1st of 2023. The maximum speed in Fairfield Harbor will be set at 30 miles per hour. The new speed limit within Fairfield Harbor will be monitored and subject to enforcement using speed signs and cameras. The 30-mile-per-hour speed limit applies to all motorized vehicles. Any vehicles observed traveling more than the posted speed limit are subject to monetary penalties. Fairfield Harbor fines do not affect North Carolina driver's license points or vehicle insurance rates. Fines of $50 per infractions must be paid to the Fairfield Harbor Property Owners Association within 30 days. If not paid in this time period, the fine will be doubled to $100. A traffic adjudicatory panel will assemble twice a month to meet with recipients of these fines if the vehicle owners choose to dispute the violation. Additionally, to keep our shoreline and harbor point gates working as intended, I would love to know what the intention was. Every vehicle without a barcode decal will have to use the visitor lane and provide the driver's full name, the nature of their business, and destination. All plate numbers will be recorded, and then a pass will be issued by gate personnel and will be visible on the dashboard at all times. All residents must call the Shoreline Gatehouse at 252-636 5566 to all visitors, guests, and contractors in advance. This last requirement will assist the gate personnel in getting these visitors through the gate more efficiently. It is the hope of your POA board that these new policies will keep your community secure and make living in our beautiful neighborhood more enjoyable. Subsidiary addendum to regulations for common areas is Section 6, Rules for Roadway. All right, so let's actually talk about the new regulations, traffic rules and regulations. This is an amendment to the regulations for common areas, Section 6, Rules of the Roadway. Effective this first day of August 2023, policy for enforcing speeding. The new 30 mile per hour, that's what MPH stands for, speed limit within Fairfield Harbor will be monitored and subject to enforcement through the use of speed signs and cameras. The 30-mile-per-hour speed limit applies to any motorized vehicles. All vehicles observed via radar traveling in excess of 9 miles per hour are subject to penalties as defined below. Fairfield Harbor fines do not affect North Carolina driver's license points or vehicle insurance rates. Procedures and penalties. Property owners. Fines to be paid within 30 days to the POA. Once a speed violation is issued, the processing date on the letter is recorded as the start time. So when you get the letter, which is confusing, right? I'm going to have to stop because I'm going to need to insert narrative as I read this through. Okay. It's just part of what makes me special, as someone called out on Facebook yesterday. A couple things so far. We go back up here to this first section. A speed limit being monitored by the use of speed signs and cameras. Okay, that's plural. And I know we have a few speed signs throughout the neighborhood. There is only a singular camera. I also noted on Facebook, someone had commented the fact that their parents don't even drive by the camera on Pelican. So there has to be another one, right? There has to be another camera because not even half of our community drive by that camera on Pelican. And I'm so sure we would never try to enforce a community-wide speed limit change when only half maybe of the community drives by the singular camera that's posted, and the other half would never have their speed assessed to even determine if they're trying to speed. I'm sure that would never be the case. I need to know what other cameras and or modalities are being used to assess people's speed, especially on the dark side, especially at the resorts. I also want to know for the resort folks if this applies to them. It likely doesn't, as I'm thinking it through. But they do drive through this community, and parts of Fairfield Harbor own that resort site. So are we capturing? I'm sure they do as part of your reservation, capture your plate number. But there's no really owner associated with that. So it's the resort group paying fines for the residents that go there if they, or are they passing those back along? Are you getting like a, we caught you speeding last month when you were here vacationing, here's your $50 fine. And then if you don't pay it, I mean, their property isn't in Fairfield Harbor. They wouldn't be visiting here if it was. So we're not assigning liens. So that's kind of money lost. I just can't imagine that it's fair. That's just what I'm getting at. But I do think the biggest flaw in this problem right now is the fact that, yes, this was communicated. The speed was communicated, but the modalities by which speed was going to be assessed is vague. We have one camera. The one camera moves between two poles on Cara and Pelican. Who's to say that camera doesn't get damaged in being moved back and forth? Who's to say? And I know I saw Jennifer's comment on Facebook, and Jennifer, hey girl, I saw that it was assessed this week and is functioning properly, and they caught several people, like they checked several cars to make sure their speed was accurate. There's got to be some kind of digital calibration that can be used. I'm going to need to see that, especially since I got two. I'm going to be real honest with you. We got two notices yesterday. It was addressed to me and my husband. I haven't gotten the letter in the mail yet, but I do plan to look. I suspect it's me. And I'm going to tell you something a little bit about me. While we're all learning about our neighbors and stuff, I grew up, my parents drag raced for a living. So my mom and dad met at a drag race track. My mom was a secretary, and she went to the drag race track in Wadesboro after work every day. That's where she and my dad met. And they taught me how to drive. I grew up right outside the racetrack, outside of Concord, North Carolina. Went there quite often for summer camp to learn how to race. My driver's license, I drove a 500 horsepower vehicle at 16 years old to go get my driver's license. I drove a Grand National. I mean, people, Just like I was not born to be quiet. I was not born to drive 30 miles an hour. Just not me. And on that point, the 30 miles an hour point, statewide, it is a law that all communities are 25 miles per hour unless otherwise posted. Why not just not have any signage and have the minimum expectation be 25? That's a law. I just don't understand the logic in we've had 35 miles per hour for years, like over a decade, and no one enforced that. And then you change on July 20th is when we got the newsletter that the speed limit was changing effective August 1st. And now all of a sudden we're going to start enforcing it overnight. Some may consider that selective enforcement of laws when you've had the precedent set for more than a decade that speed is not monitored and maintained. And I'm not saying that you can't change the rules and that you can't start to monitor and assess for things that haven't been monitored and assessed. I mean, that's evolution, right? That's how we evolve, that's how we get better. But what I'm saying is you set a precedent. You had a clearly just a deficient communication strategy and how to get this out. And then you immediately start hitting people's pocketbooks within 72 hours. When signage in the community still read 35, 2 days into the change. So whenever you have signage in conflict with your new policy, and your new policy is resetting expectations for decades plus old practices, there needs to be not a gray area. I hate those. But there needs to be a span of time, 30, 45 days, where you tell people, hey, we've caught you speeding 5, 6, 7, 8 times. And I'm going to talk about this whole selective process here in a minute. But whenever you selectively choose what you are and when you are going to enforce certain things, and you're not consistent with that, and people can't rely on you to do the right thing every single time for every single member of this community, I will pay to sue the POA, which is the POA will use my money to fight that battle. That's fine. I'll pay for both sides of it. I mean, I'm not going to be dumb here, but come on now. It's a principle. It's the principle. You're doing it the wrong way. This is not how things operate. And I will not sit by idly and silent. Do you know that whenever POA board things came out, one of the reasons why I took a break this summer from posting was a couple reasons. I got a phone call one day from a lady who was like, I want you to help me fight the POA. And we had a conversation for like 40 minutes until I was like, how exactly can I help you? And she was like, well, you're a lawyer. No, I specifically say at the beginning of every single one of my videos, I am not a lawyer. I do not represent Fairfield Harbor Property Owners Association. I do not represent the board of directors or anyone therein. I am just a neighbor, okay? And I'm not a lawyer by trade, okay? I'm just not. And then she hung up on me basically because I couldn't help her do what she wanted done, okay? Second of all, when board positions came out, I got approached by multiple people, 2 in different grocery stores, saying that they hoped I ran so that I would have to stop doing this podcast. The other was someone from the office that called me to say that they hoped I ran, but wanted to make sure that I understood that if I did run, I would need to stop my podcast. I should not have to silence my voice to be able to run for a position here. No one in this community should be silenced because they want to sit on the board of directors. Absolutely, there should be privileged information that is only used at the board for making informed decisions, for working with neighbors individually or collectively in small groups on specific issues that affect them. But I will not be silenced in order to sit on the board of directors. That's just bullshit. And the fact that multiple people would encourage me to get me to stop and or warn me that I would have to stop if I chose to is a big problem for everyone watching this, because your board of directors are quiet and we don't hear from them. We don't see them. We don't get communications from them directly except outside of the meetings, because there is the expectation that they are silent. And I think that's wrong. When I was the president of that big, huge community in Charlotte, North Carolina, I talked to people in my neighborhood via podcasts, newsletters, Facebook posts every single day. How are you doing? Hey guys, I know we had that tree fall the other day over on Wedgwood. How's everybody doing? Power, I heard, was restored. Do you need anything else? Hey guys, we're doing this. This is a big fun. We're going to do a 5K, that 5K that won awards back here. We're going to be doing this 5K. If you're a small business owner, I would love to have you support. If you can't support, but you want to get involved, you can go and register here. We were always communicating about getting our neighbors and our community members involved in various things throughout the community, checking on them when we knew there was something wrong. The fact that our POA is silent is a big problem, especially when the only communication modality that they lean on is written communication, and it sucks. Sorry. So anyway, back to this. 30 miles per hour. It applies to all motorized vehicles. Fines are subject to be paid within 30 days. Fine is $50. And let me just say, that's $50 per violation. I come and go past that camera probably 6 or 7 times a day. We got 2 violations in one day. I can assume that was me coming and going. The other thing is that it's 9 miles per hour. If all vehicles are observed via radar traveling in excess of 9 miles per hour. So that's really, you could drive 39 miles per hour before you get the ticket. So is it going to be 30 or is it going to be 39? Because because going back to my story of like how I drive, I am an efficient driver. Okay, I get behind my wheel. I know it's going to take me 23 minutes to get from here to James City. 20 of those minutes are going to be from here to the front gate. I try to take into account all of that. But when I get behind a golf cart, I get behind the lawnmower, I get behind the school buses, I add time to my thing, especially during the school year. But we're not in the school year right now, are we? I'm hoping somebody sent this communication to the school buses and to the parents of kids on school buses that pick up within our community but don't actually live here, because that's going to be a problem too. But I don't drive slow. I'm not one that tends to just hover at the speed limit. So if you're telling me that 9 miles per hour over is something I'm going to be able to do in writing, that's what I'm going to do. And I don't expect a ticket for it. So I can't wait to see what speed I was actually doing. The other thing is the adjudicatory panel. So let's just keep going, right? I think I've said everything I need to say in that first 7 lines of this thing. The traffic adjudication panel meets twice a month, the first and the last Tuesday of the month. No appointments will be scheduled. All violators will be processed on a first-come, first-heard basis. Follow the instructions on your speeding violation for scheduled times and locations. Please allow plenty of time due to volume. So most people in this community now work because it's not a retirement community, okay? People aren't just coming here. So the first adjudicatory panel, I haven't got my letter in the mail, but I can only assume being the first Tuesday, we missed it because that was the first day of the day 1 of this policy change. So August 1st would have been the first Tuesday. So the last Tuesday will be August 29th. I am going to plan to have a meeting with community members that would like to join me. I'm going to take that whole day off of work August the 29th, and I'm going to show up for my 2 tickets I have so far. I'm sure I will have collected more by the 29th. Um, but let's get together and talk before we go because I'm going to need to, well, I've got a lot of work to do before I go, but I would love to have some other community members go with me. Maybe we go get coffee beforehand. Okay. Um, so yeah, let's just plan on August 29th. I'll see you there. No appointments will be scheduled, so you're gonna take the whole day off, okay? We're just all gonna be there supporting each other at the adjudicatory panel, okay? And then after 30 days, the fine's gonna be doubled to $100, and you get charged a late fee. Though the late fee, it doesn't say how much that's gonna be. It's probably $1,500, okay? And a 15-day demand letter will be sent to the violator. So you had 30 days to pay it. After 30 days, you're gonna get $100, and then whatever late fee, I guess that's gonna just be, whatever it's gonna be, and then a 15-day demand letter, which means you're gonna pay that 100 and some odd dollars within 15 days before they put a lien on your property after 60 days. And then your doubled fee, your doubled fine to $100 plus the late fee. Then you're gonna also be paying $450 for the legal fees that you already paid for as part of your dues to put the lien on your house, plus any late filing charges. So there's the late filing charges and the late fee. Doesn't say what those are. I'm sure that a lawyer will ensure that those are clearly documented here soon. This will probably be adjusted again. But so you got 30 days, then you got 15 days, that brings us to 45. And then if you still hadn't paid, I don't know what happens between day 46 and 59, but come day 60, you're gonna have a lien on your property if you own a property in Fairfield Harbor, okay? It's just a lot of vagueness here, and I just think this is poorly communicated and run, and I cannot sit back and not say anything. So I hate that this is my first newsletter back. I had a great summer, by the way. We went to Mexico. Me and my husband, my kids stayed here with their Aunt Mimi, and that was a lot of fun. Um, we had a lot of fun this summer. And I hate that this is my first podcast back, but it just is what it is. Under an NC law, fines become assessments against the owner's property within Fairfield Harbor and are subject to a late fee. Again, not actually defined how much that late fee is per month, as with any other assessment. In accordance with the Fairfield Harbor Property Owner Association governing documents, a lien may be placed on any property owner account which is more than 60 days past due, and the homeowner is responsible for payment of any legal costs. Fines and other suspensions and privileges after the initial traffic adjudication panel hearing may be assessed by the Property Owners Association without further process. So fines and suspension of privileges, which probably means you can't vote, which is good because we have no votes coming up. I can't imagine what other privileges would be because we don't really have any more privileges, right? Like they just keep taking away everything we can do. What, you can't drive your golf cart? Can't go eat at the Fairfield Harbor Grill or whatever it's called? It's really a lame, or else what? You took everything else we can actually do. We got a pool that wasn't even open half the summer. We got a golf course we don't use. Maybe you take away your golf privileges. If you're a golfer, that might hurt a little bit. But there's really nothing else. Can't take your dog to the dog park because we check who comes in and out of that all the time. Can't go to Red Cell Park. What is the actual consequence? What suspension of privileges are we actually discussing here that would actually hurt? It's lame. And keeping in mind, I come from the 80s where, we just stayed outside all the time. Everything was free. We had no money to do anything. So, got to consider your audience here. Renters. This is important because We have a rental property. Renters will be sent a speeding violation just as the property owners with a copy of each offense letter sent to both the renter and the landlord. That's great. So not only am I going to get letters from myself, I'm going to get it from the people that were renting our property. And if the renter does not pay the fine within 30 days nor appear before the traffic adjudication panel, we'll just meet and come together. All fines levied will be assessed against the property. Thereafter, additional fines and late charges, interest, and legal fees will occur as described above, along with the lien against the property owner. It's going to be fun. All right. Have a conversation with them. All right. Procedures and penalties. Commercial drivers, contractors, and guests. All vehicles entering the gate will have to provide the driver's full name, the nature of their business, and whom they plan on visiting. All plate numbers will be recorded. Then a pass will be issued by gate personnel and will be visible on the dash at all times. Company management and or property owners, the host contractors, and guests. So let me get it straight. Company management and or property owners, so that's us, that host contractors and guests, okay, will be notified of speeding violations. Okay. If fine are not paid within 30 days, company personnel and or guests will not be allowed to drive within Fairfield Harbor until the fine is paid. So what that means, folks, is that we will not have grocery delivery. Panera Bread will not be able to come here. Probably all of Sarah's drivers from the pizza place. I mean, I still have tire marks from the last time they came here in my driveway. So I'm gonna just assume we have no more deliveries coming here. Maybe we can have Jeff Bezos set us up an Amazon pickup locker at the volunteer fire department. Um, So if they're not paid within 30 days, company personnel and or guests will not be allowed to drive within Fairfield Harbor until the fine is paid. Repeated speeding violations may result in the company and or guests not being allowed to drive in Fairfield Harbor for a minimum of 30 days. And repeat offenders may be barred from future entrance. So it's based on the full name and drivers, like in the license plate, right? So if they enter the gate, they give their name, the nature of their business. So, hey, I'm trying to deliver a pizza to Emily Bartlett at 5002 Plymouth Court. And then they speed all the way here. And they do that the 5 times we order from them every month. Then they're going to be, I guess, repeated. See, it doesn't say how many times repeated is. Is repeated twice? Because that's a repeat. Or is repeated 5 times? Is repeated 10 times? Or is Sarah just going to keep turning over her delivery people? I mean, these are jobs where turnover and staff retention is very short. There's a lot of, again, we put stuff on paper that we can't necessarily enforce and we don't know how to enforce it. So we're super vague in the details so that we can make up the details as we go. That's not how this works. I'm going to make a cup that says, "That's not how this works," because that's my favorite phrase. All right, the right to appeal. The POA Board of Directors will be the final judicial review body in this process. All appeals must follow the appeals process outlined in the Fairfield Harbor Property Owner Traffic Adjudicatory Panel Appeal Procedure. And you know what? I don't have that pulled up. It should be in here, but it's not, because you got to go look somewhere else for it, because we can't make it easy for people. When you change the process, you should give everybody all of the information that they need. But you know what? This last page is my favorite page. I'm going to show you something. This is the process map. And I have gotten, since I made the post on July 20th, that the fucking process map was a joke. Y'all, this is not a process map. Okay. If you ever go anywhere and you see this as a process map, know that the people that you're dealing with have no idea what is going on. Okay. Received a speeding violation. These lines would assume that you have three separate options. You can either pay the $50 fine and you're done within 30 days and you're done. Just easiest way to take it. And that's what they want you to do. They make the route that is more lucrative the easiest so you can just be done with it. Okay? But now there's not two other options here. There's not two other roads here, right? There's one other road that takes you down to pass. I'm going to talk you through this. Okay, so stick with me here. All right. So the traffic adjudicatory panel, it's offered twice each month. Again, that's the first and the last Tuesday of every month. No appointments are needed. It's first come, first serve. So then you would think you go to the adjudicatory panel based on this drawing, and there are two options, right? So after 30 days, it's the same as don't pay. So that's really not a separate option because you just go to don't pay. Or you can appeal request within 15 days. I don't know what that means because that wasn't mentioned in the process above, right? So the 15 days came in with after 30 days, the fine is doubled and then a 15-day demand letter. But see, the adjudication panel meets twice a month. So are you appealing? Do you get a 15-day appeal? See, you don't have the actual other policy. I'm going to try to go find it. Hold on a second. Let me just go to front steps. I'm going to log in. I'm going to do it right here while we're talking. Just log in. You know who I am. I'm here all the time. Hi, it's me. I'm the problem. It's me. Love that Taylor Swift song. Let's go to documents and FAQs. Oh, let me share this while we're going here. Okay. Sorry, I have a light because it was. I'm officially. Oh my God. Let's stop sharing this screen. Present. I'm going to share this screen. Let's go see if we can find this. Here's the adjudicatory panel. Here are the guidelines. Let's see if the word traffic's in here, or is this just the. Oh, traffic's not in this adjudicatory panel instruction document. So, what are we looking for here again? Do you see? Hold on. Are you still with me? All right. What is the name? The appeal process outlined in the Fairfield Harbor POA Traffic Adjudicatory Panel Appeal Procedure. FHPOA Traffic Adjudicatory. All right. Okay, so let's go back to the. You would think that the traffic adjudicatory panel procedure would be in the adjudicatory panel folder. But no, again, we don't make it easy. We want the easiest thing for you to do is to pay the $50 and move on about your day because the $50 needs to go to the restaurant. Let's see. It won't be in the board meeting minutes folder. That was empty the last several times I looked in it. Let's just go to general. Oh, maybe we could search. Can you search for files? Traffic. Oh my God. There are no files with traffic in them. And the only adjudicatory panel file is in the one we just went in that has no word like traffic in it. That's some shit right there. That's some shit. I can't with this. And I know, Jennifer, like we can have a conversation, but I'm kind of done talking. All right. Because this is the kind of bullshit that is literally like, you cannot make this up. You send out a document that literally says, see this. This doesn't even exist. The word traffic doesn't even exist in the documents on our freaking page. And you wonder why people get so mad and go to Facebook. We go to Facebook because at least people will talk about it. But people can't talk about it when the POA is silent and the board is silent. So we talk amongst ourselves on the Facebook, which creates more angst and animosity because people are ill-informed. We don't have the information we need to make an informed decision. And people are going to get lawyers to come after you about this because you make bold claims and you send them fines for 50. We got $100 in fines yesterday. And yet the policy documentation is lacking. And what you point me to for how to appeal the process doesn't even exist on the website. Do you understand what I'm saying? You have to connect all the dots. That's why people are pissed. And we're not going to wait for shit in the mail to start talking about it because the shit that hit our mailboxes was about money being owed before we got the information about what date you found us speeding, how fast we were going, pictures of the proof. It's all out of order. And then the information that we need to take action doesn't exist or isn't where it's easily accessible. That's why people stay pissed. Now, I'm gonna go back. God, that just lit me on fire. My coffee's gonna taste cold now. Like, my heart is literally, like, about to beat out of my chest because I was not expecting to go search for that document and not fucking find it. God, that makes me so mad. Alright, so this is what you see, okay, people? This is the process map as you see it. I took it upon myself because, I mean, and what I did was I tried to make this stick with me here. Let me see what you're looking at so I can make sure that I'm broadcasting the right thing. Yeah, okay. So this is what an actual process map looks like, right? We got a speeding violation received. This is what the current state map shows if you actually put it into a flow chart. There are little things like this. This is a process. This is a predefined process. So the speeding violation process is supposedly predefined. Okay, then we have these processes. Um, Documentation, like these are things that are documents that you're going to get. This is what that looks like. Okay. So you pay the fine within 30 days and you're done. This is a terminator, the oval symbol. The adjudicatory panel offered twice a month, no appointments needed. First appeal request within 15 days. After 30 days, it's the same as don't pay. So really we could just draw a connector to here. Board appeal to board of directors, immediate payment of fine if appeal is denied, and then after 30 days, it's the same as don't pay. And then if you don't pay, you get your late charges and you get a demand letter, and then it's going to be liened and all that stuff. Okay. But still, this is not a good process. This process is gapped. There's a lot of gaps here. Okay. I'm going to show you where I got stuck trying to fix it. You get a speeding violation. This is multiple documents, right? Let me make this bigger so we can see it. I'll make it even bigger. All right. Bless America. You get a speeding violation. Speeding violation is sent in two parts, right? We learned this yesterday on Facebook. You get the speeding violation letter with details of the infraction, and then you get the fee notice with no details about the infraction sent from the account director. Okay. So what happened yesterday was that people were made via the newsletter aware that tickets had gone out, and people had already gotten the emails with the fees due before we got the violation letter. Okay. That's out of order. Then you have a decision point, right? So the alleged offense is applicable. Is it? Do I think I was speeding on the date and time that I don't know, because all the documentation I've gotten so far is has nothing on it but the money owed? No. No. Oh, wait. So this should say yes. So if I do think it's a valid offense and I need to pay the fine because I'm a good person, I do the right thing, then yeah, I'll pay the fine within 30 days and I'm done. But if no, I'm going to attend the traffic adjudicatory panel. And that meets twice per month, the first and last Tuesday of the month, and no appointments needed. It's first come, first served, and no a meeting agenda. Okay. But then this is where I get messed up. Attend the traffic adjudicatory panel. Is that the appeal? See, I don't know, because I have no appeals document that I can access to show me what the appeal looks like. And the word traffic doesn't appear in the adjudicatory panel document on the website. So I'm not going to read through the adjudicatory panel appeal document when it doesn't pertain to traffic, when my violation is traffic. And the new policy that you put out says that there will be a traffic adjudicatory panel appeal process document. So then I stop the process. The process is stopped. So I'm not paying the $50 fine until I know what my appeal process is, because it will be appealed. Because I can only assume that on the date of any speeding that was done, that either it was of a contractor coming to see me, because people come by here all the time. And let me just say, I've had 3 contractors come by here this week, and I asked every single one of them if they were asked at the gate who they were coming to see, and they said no. So if we're not going to follow the process, then we're not going to follow the process. Why even have the process? We cannot be selective about this because it impacts people's pocketbooks. You know what, y'all? How long have I been recording? It's been a long time. God, like an hour. That just lit me on fire. I mean, happy Saturday. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I think it's going to rain, though it is cooling down. I woke up at like 6 a.m. It's the day before yesterday, and walked my dogs outside, and I was like, oh my God, there was actually a chill on the air. Fall is coming. It made me want to put out a pumpkin. I'm not going to lie. But I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I am so sorry that this post included a lot of profanity, but y'all, I was not prepared to go look for that document that policy directs and not find it. That kind of shit just gets under my skin. I cannot. Gonna need to go to church tomorrow. Pray about it. Okay. But until then, I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Call me. And again, let's plan something. I'd love to go to coffee before the adjudicatory panel meeting. I think we said it was going to be on the 29th. So if you're planning to go to that meeting, I would love to meet for coffee beforehand. Maybe we could do it at the no, the restaurant won't be open. Maybe we can do it somewhere though. Okay. Near here. And then we can all go together. Maybe we rent a bus. Okay. I will talk to you later. Have a great weekend, and be on the lookout for more of this informing and enlightening content coming soon. Bye.